All right. The card on the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Swords card. And the Nine of Swords is about emotional pain. It's about anxiety. It's about stress. It's about just a whole lot of emotional life going on, even though swords tends to indicate intellect. It could be that your thoughts have become toxic to you. If you're worrying, you're ruminating. People have racing thoughts because they have a problem slowing their thoughts down so that they can sort through them and address them one at a time, right? Now, I'll put that aside for now. We may return to that throughout the reading here. This first card is the Chariot in reverse. The Chariot card is the card for Cancer. And this card has to do with fast forward or fast moving energy, right? But we have the black lunar night, intuitive emotion, and we have the white solar energy, logic, reason, coming together in harmony to move forward in one unified direction. Pulling the cart here in one direction, or the wagon you're dragging, right? In the reverse, this could be that there's a slowing down or a stagnation that you're feeling. Maybe you're struggling with head and heart conflict. Like you feel some way, but then your intellect is telling you the opposite. Or maybe you're just feeling out of balance, or not quite so grounded, as a Cancer person, so take it as it resonates, right? I did forget to mention that, being a general reading, this won't apply for everyone. So do see what applies for you. Now, this here can be truth, information coming in. Sometimes it can be, social media, gossiping or melodramas. You know how people get on Facebook and some of those other social media places. A little spying going on, that kind of thing. But some kind of communication comes in and it may be leaving you feeling left out in the cold. Like maybe you've heard that, something was going on and you weren't invited, or it could be that you're just, for whatever reason, maybe it was a cold communication, something gossipy, something negative. This is not in the reverse position, so it doesn't even have to be something that's negative. But in thinking, this is about a lack of balance, stagnation, lack of direction, some information comes in, and then as a result, you see we're flowing from left to right here, then we see this out in the cold kind of situation. So that kind of makes me think that this might not be the nicest thing to have to hear. This could have to do with something that you don't feel good about, let's say. Now, in your world, there's the Four of Cups right here, and this is about not accepting something that's being offered, kind of a dissatisfaction that you may be going through. Could be because you're being persnickety, or being negative. This card can sometimes be the Bachelor or Bachelorette card, because people are being really fussy, right? Doesn't have to be that per se, but do note that there's some sort of, I don't want to say divine source, but there's a mythological being here even that's offering a cup, and this person's sitting there with his arms folded across his chest. I'm not taking any one of those, right? Now, is that positive, proper discernment, or could that be because he's feeling out of balance, that he doesn't want to make that choice, and really is just kind of stagnant, and that's why he's not accepting any of these options that are being offered, lacking a sense of direction. This here, the Two of Wands, is in the reverse position. Typically, it's about somebody who's looking out over the horizon, who's trying to make a decision about two things. But really, it's almost about gathering the information before making a decision. So that could be why, if you're not accepting this information or you're not accepting what's being offered to you, it's because you want to know more first. And it does seem that you will be getting that information when this Page of Wands energy kicks in. And that may or may not have happened already, or it's going to happen shortly. Okay. Because here we have the Ace of Swords. This is coming, right? This is in the future. There's some kind of message. This is also a message card. This is truth and clarity. Truth and clarity. But it's going to help because this is sort of a mental trap in the state. This is kind of ideas. This is, how you're kind of thinking about the situation. But having a little truth or clarity on that actually can help free you from this Eight of Swords mental prison that you've put yourself in. You're not really, this person here could slip through these swords at any point in time. Nothing's really holding her back. Even her bonds are loose. There's no reason she can't get out of that herself, take off the blindfold and step out of those swords, right? But in this, she's coming out of that. She's getting herself out of that. Most likely because she's received some information that helps her to do that. Understand that a lot of times it's how we think about a situation that creates the prison we put ourselves in with regards to situation. Even this Nine of Swords here that we saw earlier, if you'll notice with this figure, and please, I promise I'm not saying this about every single person that's listening to this right now, but she kind of has her hand, like the back of her hand is up on her forehead and she's laying on a fainting couch. This is kind of a histrionic pose. Like, be very careful that we're not self-imposing our unhappiness, that we're not thinking about things in a way that's causing distress or disharmony, right? Because how we talk about ourselves through a situation, how we talk ourselves through a situation has a lot to do with how much suffering we're going to put ourselves, voluntary suffering, right? Life, circumstances, other people, random events, that will create suffering. We don't want to pile on because we're thinking from an anxiety mindset or because our racing thoughts aren't allowing us to make choice. We have to be very careful not to be a co-conspirator in our own unhappiness because we don't recognize that we're not utilizing our coping skills or identifying new coping skills for managing some of our thinking. Now, this here, the Seven of Pentacles, is about a delay in something that you've been waiting for, a delay in that harvest that you've been waiting for, possibly because you're not making any choices, and most certainly because this movement has arrested. That's not going anywhere. So whatever it is, you haven't been making decisions because you're feeling in a stagnant place, and that's why nothing's bearing fruit for you. Now, there is some kind of death here, but I feel that it has more to do with an orientation, I want to say, than anything, right? There's some kind of communication here that comes in. You're hoping for this clarity. You're coming out of surveillance mode because you want to be able to make quick, decisive action here. This action may make some big change for you, but it's going to affect you. I really don't see a whole lot of other people in this reading. I think this is an internal process that you're experiencing. You're feeling left out in the cold, but someone's going to say something or tell you some kind of truth, and you're going to get out of your prison. It's kind of like if you're walking down the street and you see somebody on the sidewalk on the far opposite side of the street, and you wave at them and they don't wave back, and you think to yourself, well, they hate me. Did I make them mad? That kind of thing. But then come to find out later on, they lost their glasses or their contact lens, or they didn't see you, or they were in a hurry or something like that. And then we have to reassess, oh, I put myself through that hell wondering what I had done to offend them. It wasn't even about that. It was completely unrelated. So this has a lot to do with the power of your own thoughts and thinking. There's nothing wrong with going slow the way we see you doing in this energy here to get more information so that you can move forward. But again, be careful that you're not becoming your own worst enemy with how you're thinking about a situation. The sense of being left out in the cold, maybe that's not the group for you. Maybe that's not the organization or the friendship circle or the lover partner, whatever for you. Maybe that's okay. Maybe there's freedom in the truth. Because now I can see clearly with the vision of that hawk. I can see the broader overview. Recognize that I don't have to be in a prison of my own creation because I'm surrendering my will, my happiness, my emotional and intellectual integrity to somebody who's not for my benefit. In that, there's a great sense of release and change. And it's so positive to experience something like that. Now, I will go ahead now and look at our oracle card. And the deck that I'm working with today is the Sacred Traveler Oracle card. A new gift. I got it just today from my friend returning from Arizona, who I picked up at the airport. This was a gift from my friend to me. Unbeknownst to my friend, there was no, that's been on my wish list for like ever through Amazon. But I just hadn't brought myself to buy it. So how wonderful is that? And very supportive, knowing what I'm getting into now. And it's also an excellent support for the Witch's Tarot deck, I think. So let me go ahead and toss this and ask Spirit if they would please help guide us today in providing some information, guidance, healing, love, messaging for our friends, the Cancer and Cross Watchers. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is wonderful. It's called Voyage of the Heart. And let me quickly, I love it when they leap out because I really do feel like Spirit is helping us with that. And I'm so grateful because the universe supports us in all these ways. And it's amazing to me how the more you check in with that, the more you realize that that happens, the more you see it happening. It reminds me of that line from the movie, oh, my mom watches it, I forget. Tim Allen, he plays Santa Claus. But it's not seeing is believing, it's that believing is seeing. And there's something true to that when you start plugging into the universe and the mystery behind that. But what a beautiful card. Love flows through you and to you. You are beloved. You are deeply loved and profoundly lovable. You are a sacred vessel for love to flow through you. God, the Creator, is love, and in your essence, so are you. In matters of romantic love, all is healing or is already healed on the inner planes. Trust the message from your heart and follow them, even if they are at odds with your mind. Angels and guides are communicating with you. Listen to their soft whispers. The Sacred Traveler wants you to know joyous love flows through you and to you. You deserve love. There is nothing you need to do to receive this vibrant energy. Tenderness and devotion are finding their way to you. The traveler walks with a light heart on the path, knowing that she is surrounded with love. It's truly a day for rejoicing. Your capacity for receiving and giving love is expanding. Let your heart lead you forward. Your mission on earth is to deepen your ability to impart and accept love, and that is happening right now.